Hello, good day everyone. I hope you are doing great in your own home. So today, we will be discussing about the elements of multimedia. But before that, let us define again what is multimedia. So again, multimedia refers to multi means many and media is a type of medium that allows information to be easily transferred from one location into other. So multimedia is the presentation of the text, pictures, audio, and video with links and tools that allow the user to navigate, engage, create, and communicate using a computer. So let us know what are the elements of multimedia. So there are 5 elements of multimedia. So the first one is audio, we have the graphic, we have the text, we have video, and lastly, we have animation. So, what is audio? So, audio is considered as first element of the multimedia. So, the word audio is slightly different from sound. Audio is because audio consists of the sound that we can hear. So, it is a sound elements. Ang audio kay sound elements siya. So, naa siya different, slightly nga difference with the ang audio o ang sound. So, under sa audio ang sound. So, there are two types of audio. So, there is the analog, which is the original sound. So, ang illustration ani, ang analog, for example, you are holding a microphone. So, you are directly talking to the microphone. So, it is considered as analog. Well, the other one is the digital. So the digital one is, of course, it uses digital sampling of the actual sound. So if yung imuhang voice record is na-transfer na from a computer or into something, so it is considered as a digital one. So let us proceed. The second one is graphic. So what is graphic? As we all know, graphic is considered as the most important elements of multimedia. Nganong ang graphic man ang isa ka most important element of multimedia. It is because through graphics, it represent image and it is a visual. So, if ang tao magud, makita sa tao directly, kung unsa ang makita sa tao sa iyahang mata, is kanang dali ta unsay pasabot ana, di ba? Kung makita ta mao ning gina-convey ani na graphic. So it is most important kay mao man natong makita dayon, di ba, sa atong mga mata. So it is an effective way to communicate. So the other one is the text. So ang text is considered as a basic element of multimedia. Kano ma-considered man as basic element of multimedia? Kay of course, if walay text, kanang picture lang, so masabtan ba dayon nato nga kanang unsa jud iyang gusto ipasabot. So di ba lisod, for example, in a movie, mas maglisod tag sabot ana if walay text, di ba? Kung unsa jud ilang gusto ipahiwatig, like for example a graphic, kanang lahi day atong interpretation pero napaday deeper meaning ana, so we need text. So mao consider siya as a basic element of multimedia. So, 3 things to be considered using text. So, unsa man ang tulo nga pinaka-important jud when we are using text. So, of course, the positioning of the text. Kay dapat, ang text, gigamit nato na siya nga kanang tama jud ang positioning, like kanang hanay bitaw siya. Number 2 is the length of the message. Of course, dapat dili lengthy ang message. Because, dapat kung unsa ang important lang, mao lang na ang dapat na makita. And number 3 is legibility of the text. So, dapat legible jud ang text. And let us proceed. Sa next one is the video. So video, of course, it transmits a signal to a screen and processes the order in which the screen captures should be shown. So as we all know, video kay unsa natong makita directly in our unsa man nato nga device. Of course, it's a sequence of event from a moving picture. So sometimes ang video kay na siya audio, na siya graphics, and of course na siya text. So all in one na kanang marag elements sa media makita sa video usually. So The last one, which is the animation. So, unsa man yung animation? So, animation is of course giving life to inanimate objects. So, usually nato niyo siya makita sa mga cartoons jud. Like before, na two types of animation, which is the 2D and the 3D animation. So, ang murag realistic jud, like kanang hawd na jud kaayo, like grabe na jud, is mo na siya ang considered na 3D animation. So, ako guys, is papyaw lang ni siya, introduction lang sa elements of multimedia, and to go further kung unsam jud ang functions aning lima, aning audio, graphic, text, video, and animation, will be discussed by my fellow reporters. So that could be all. Thank you.
So hi guys, so I hope no dili ko haggard ya sa mga camera. Anyways, you've already met Jana Kathleen Sumatra, and she was able to discuss about brief description about elements of multimedia. And right now I'll be elaborating more about the text and image. So first is the text. So it is the basic step towards development of multimedia presentation. So including text is very essential because it is used to communicate information to the users, di ba? We are taught to read and write before pa lang kay para makasabot ta kung unsa to mga ginabasa, maka-read ta, we're able to read. So text is very important in the context of multimedia because ginagamit gid po siya to communicate information sa mga users nato. It doesn't just limited to if you would say about the alphabets or phonetics, it doesn't just limited to that. Syempre other nations uses other way of writing or unsa ba na ilang mga text dara, so dili na siya maglimit dara. Also in text, mga words, single line or sentences, paragraphs, nag-exist yun na siya sa multimedia. Also karon because of the multimedia na putay mga development which is not jud tay lahi-lahi nga mga fonts, di ba? Makita man nato na siya sa lahi-lahi nga aspect sa multimedia na siya mga various size, mga color, type and styles. So text is very important basically and obviously, di ba? There are two types of text. Gihanga ko. First is the static text. So it refers to the text that remains fixed or unchanged. So sa context sa computer programming or any web development or document creation, ang static text, it is typically kanang nag-refer na siya sa content nga murag hard-coded gani and dili na siya ma-change based sa iyang user input, sa iyang database updates, and sa other external factors. Commonly, makitaan yun na siya or ma-use na siya nga element sa like kanang sa mga header, sa footer, sa mga general information nga dili siya need gid ma-alter frequently. So ang static text is dili siya editable, dili siya ma-change. Mas kung sa pa naman siya tuplok dira. In multimedia context naapoy inana nga mga static text also exist. So next one is the hypertext. So the hypertext, it refers to a text that contains links to other texts, typically in electronic form. So the term hypertext kanang nag-associate na siya sa concept gani sa hyperlinks, which are kanang mga clickable elements nga nag-allow sa mga users to navigate between different pieces of content, whether they are kanang murag web page, di ba pag natin mga i-click sa itong mga computers nga mga links kanang mo-direct sa lahi nga mga websites or other nga mga form of kanang mga web pages. So inana ang hypertext, basically it is a text nga murag connected na siya sa mga hyperlinks nga. So the idea behind hypertext is to create a non-linear structure for organization and presenting information. Next one is the image. So it is an important component of multimedia. Importante kayo ang image sa multimedia. So it basically multimedia are graphics and image based. So, 'di ba, mabanday na to sa multimedia, they usually use kanang mga graphics and other image based. So if wala gi image, dili gyud siya matawag pod or dili gyud makompleto. Dili siya dili siya makompleto ang multimedia if wala ang element nga image. So information communication is much easier to remember and understand if it is presented through image. So this is actually true. So there are two types of image. First is the bitmap or raster image. So it is a type of digital image that is represented by a grid of individual pixels. Each pixel contains information about the color and the intensity of the image at that specific point. So the term bitmap comes from the fact that the image is essentially a map of bits, which with each bit corresponding to a pixel. Map sa beep gani nga kanang murag naka naka-arrange siya in rows and columns nga in every boxes or in every pixel ana nandun na siya own nga mga color information, and kung isagol-sagol naman siya, i-form mo na siya nga mga pixels or bitmap or kanang map of bits, then it will turns out to have or to form a complete image. So pero sa raster image or sa bitmap, conjugate siya kanang the quality and clarity of a bitmap image are heavily dependent on its resolution. So the more nga high ang resolution, the more nga clearer and the more nga detailed ang image, and the more ana is daghan og bitmaps. Or pero kung lower ang iyang resolution, mas pixelated mo na siya kanang murag pixelated gani kanang mga box or something like that. Mo na siya mga pixels na siya, and gina-arrange siya into row to make a bitmap in order to complete or form a complete image. So usually sa bitmap na siya sa kanang mga JPEG, kanang mga PNG, and sa mga GIF, di ba kabalo mata ng mga mga BMP, draa na siya, draa nga mga image file extension. Next one is a vector image. So a vector image is a type of digital graphic that is defined by mathematical equations rather than a grid of pixels. Instead of storing information about individual pixels, vector images or vector graphics represents image as a series of points, lines, curves, and shapes. So these elements are defined by mathematical formulas, allowing vector images to be scaled to any size without a loss of quality. Photo or for a graphics, di ba? Nga murag dili siya naga-rely sa murag grid of pixels. Naga-rely siya sa kanang murag mathematical equations gani, and we don't know much more about that, diba? There are a lot of key qualities or characteristics nga ma-compare nimo ang raster image or ang bitmap images sa vector image. Ang vector image man good is ma-resize na siya and scale to any dimension nga dili jud ma-lose ang iyang sharpness or iyang details. This is because that the image is defined by mathematical relationship, which is wala ta kabalo, and dili siya parehas sa raster image nga murag nag-rely lang siya sa mga grid of pixels. Unlike sa bitmap, vector images are not resolution dependent. So, miskan pag i-zoom in mo na siya dira, miskan pag i-kuanin mo na siya dira, kapilahon pa ni mo na siya zoom dira, dili na mabag-o yung quality kay mao man na siya because it is a vector image. Usually mapansin nato ang mga vector image sa kanang mga logo, kana ganing nag-edit ang mga logos, kanang mga icons, kanang mga illustrations and other graphics. Kani siya nga mga pictures is from SVG or kanang scalable vector graphics, kanang sa Adobe Illustrator, and sa kanang EPS or sa encapsulated PostScript, and also part po diri sa vector images kanang bitong PDF, kanang portable document format ni kung saan po nimo nag-zoom dira dili gid mabag-o ang quality sa picture kay vector image man siya. Ang raster kay nag-rely siya sa grid of pixels sa pila ang sa iyang bitmap. Ang sa vector images kay murag diraan na mura na siya mga graphics or other images kadili gid mabag-o iyang quality. That's it. Murag hangak jud siya, no? And I hope that you have learned something about my reporting with regards to the text and the images.
Hello everyone, I am Dorothy Harriet Cabante and I will be continuing our presentation. Let us talk about audio and video. So in our discussions, we've talked about multimedia a lot. So now we know that multimedia is like a creative mix of different things like words, diba? Such as words or the text, pictures, and sounds. So imagine it as a special show where sounds play a big role in making it interesting. So from soft whispers to loud screams, sound adds meaning to the show by bringing in speech, music, special effects, and creating mood with background sounds. So let's think of sound like the star of the show. Sometimes it's in its regular form or the analog one, and the other times it's changed into digital audio for convenience. So let's imagine it like imagine a presentation like a story. While words and pictures are important in telling the story, sound becomes really essential when there's no one there to speak live. Think about educational CDs or kanang mga videos that you watch on YouTube. They let you choose if you want to hear the story with sound or not, which makes learning more fun. So in multimedia, adding sounds involves recording the story and matching it with moving pictures or video so it's easy to understand and interesting to watch. Now, let's think of your computer like a special tool that's ready for the fun stuff. Inside your computer, it has things like sound cards, speakers, and a microphone, just like your phone has a camera, so mga built-in na siya. The computer's brain or the operating system comes with programs to capture sounds and videos, making it easy for you to do cool multimedia things like recording your voice or making videos. It's like having all the right tools in one place for a smooth and enjoyable experience. Now, let's talk about the different ways we handle music and sounds on our computer. So the first one is the Musical Instrument Digital Interface or the MIDI. Let's think of MIDI like a magical code for music. It was made in the 1980s and it is fantastic for creating original tunes. So to use it, you need special programs, something to make the sounds, para sa anang synthesizer, and sometimes kanang MIDI keyboard. The better your instruments and sound system, of course, the better the music sounds. So the next one is the digital audio. Now, when we turn real sounds into computer language, we say computer language, kadang real sounds, ato na siyang i-convert into numbers nga mabasa sa itong computer, that's what we call digital audio. It's like taking tiny snapshots of the sounds many times a second. So the more snapshots we take and the more details we capture each time, the better the sound quality. There are specific frequencies like CD quality ones that help with this. And the two main types are uncompressed or katong WAV, WAV pa na. Mao na siyang katong mga big files but with great quality. And na po mga compressed ones, mao na siyang katong smaller files which is good for multimedia music. So familiar taan ito na nila. Mao na siyang katong mga MP3 nga files. So now, alright, let's talk about what video really means. Mala sa audio, let's head over to video. So imagine you're watching a movie or a show on your TV. Nya katong moving picture, that is what we call a video. So it's like a way of showing real things that happened recorded on your TV screen or your monitor. These scenes could be anything from beautiful landscapes to moments captured on your cameras or your phone. So when you see moving images on your TV or your phones or your monitors, that's what we call a video. Now, let's understand why video is so special in our digital world. So video is like a superhero of information. Why? Because it can tell stories, show us things, and make us feel like we're really there. Think of it as the most exciting part of multimedia where you can see and experience things. Diba, sa labang na pagtaas kayo ang resolution sa atong gitanong nga video, it's as if nga naata sa mismong salida, para sa nang horror nga salida, o nabiuban nga, musyagit pagani, diba? It's because kanang taas kayong resolution, it seems like we're really part of the story, and agani. Now, video comes in two types. The one is like traditional ones, katong para sa mga traditional nga movies, and the other is a bit more high-tech, like the videos you watch on your computer or on your phone. It's all about bringing information into life. Now, there are two types of traditional videos. Traditional videos at top. The first one is the composite analog video. So think of this like mixing all the colors, the brightness, and timing into one signal. It's a bit like when the colors in a painting get mixed and can bleed into each other. For example, kanang sa watercolor, magbutang ka diri nga side nga sa canvas og red diri kay blue. 'Di ba? Of course, katong sa tunga wala pa na siya na uga mahimo og purple kay mag-bleed man siya into each other. So, in composite analog video, this can make the video not as clear and lose some quality when copied or edited. So the second type of traditional video is the component analog video. Now, it's like a more advanced version of the composite one. Instead of mixing everything together into one signal, we keep each color, brightness, and timing separate. So this way, when we copy or edit, we don't lose as much quality. It's like having better control over the details of the video. Now, let's talk about the cool stuff, the digital video. So the digital video is like a magic window to the real world on your computer or on your phone. It's super realistic but needs a lot of space and a strong internet connection to work well. Diba, makarelate maguro mo para sa nang namoy kanang mga ganahan nga mga kanang artist mag-release sila music video para sa nang Blackpink dili jud ko musugot nga hinay kaayo or maot kayo ang resolution kay maot dili ma-enjoy tapos pagka man hinay po ang internet connection dili na siya mag-work well. So in order for it to work well, you need a strong internet connection and you need nga ang imong device would have a lot of space. So imagine it's like trying to fit a big detailed picture into your computer. So to make this work smoothly, we use special codes. Sa mga codes katang mga MPEG, JPEG, Cinepack, and so on and so on. So these codes help squash the big video into smaller manageable size for the internet. So now, when we share videos online, we use special programs like Adobe Flash, Microsoft Windows, Media, QuickTime, and Real Player. They help make sure that the videos look good even with slower internet. QuickTime and Real Video are like superheroes here, often used to share videos so that lots of people can easily watch them. It's like a high-tech movie night on the internet. That's all for my part. Thank you.
So we're now moving on the animation. A visual change over time, animations are able to add great power to any multimedia application, and any static presentation becomes lively by adding some animation into it. It includes still images displayed quickly that give the impression of continuous movement. Animations can either 2 or 3 dimensional. In 2 dimensional or 2D animation, the visual changes that brings an image alive occur in the flat X and Y axis of the display screen. In 3 dimensional or 3D animation, the visual changes occurs along the entire 3 X, Y, and Z axis, showing the image from all the angles. So, talking about what is animation, it is like making a pictures come to life. Like we have to imagine that we are flipping a book that where the draw series of the picture is like quickly moving, and then there are two types of animation, the 2D animation and 3D animation. So what is the 2D animation? When we say 2D animation, it is a drawing on a flat piece of paper that the changes of the picture happen by up and down and left and right direction. It is X and Y axis. So some examples of 2D animation in the softwares are Macromedia Flash, Cinefix Studio, and Pencil. And then the example of cartoon is Mickey Mouse. And then the 3D animation naman ka shaping something in 3 dimensions. So ang movement niya sa 3D animation is tulo, which is ang left and right, up and down, and then front and back. So it is considered as Z-axis. And then the example of 3D in the software are Maya, Blender, and 3ds Max. And then think about the movie, the Toy Story or the Frozen is using the 3D animation. So there's two types of animation, the path animation and frame animation. So what is path animation? Path animation involves moving an object on a screen that has a constant background cartoon character may move across the screen regardless any change in the background or the character. Path animation normally controls the position and rotation of an object along a curve. Frame animation. Frame animation allows several objects to move simultaneously, and the objects or the background can also change. Animation requires very little space as compared to videos, as it consists of drawing and moving instruction. Animation is very useful for such multimedia applications where moving visuals are required. So, when we say pet animation is like moving an object on the screen, but there's no changes of the background, like stay lang siya ang background. Like for example, the character is walking along the screen, but the background is stay on what is the background from the first scene until the end of the scene. It is just the same. And then frame animation is different from path animation. The frame animation is there's also moving of objects, but the background is changing. Like we have to imagine that the scene is not only the characters moving, but also the background is moving. So that is the difference between the path animation and the frame animation. So we are now moving on the hypergraphics. So what is hypergraphics? It is very similar to hyperlinks in that they are graphics which when we click will open a file or URL. Creating a hypergraphics involves first inserting the graphic, then selecting it with the mouse, and then making it hot using the hyperlink button. Using a border around the graphic can help to make it clear that the image is hyperlinked. So, ang hypergraphics is like the hyperlinks. The difference of this is the hyperlink is a text, and then the graphics is picture or the image, and then we have to click it to open a file or URL, and then there's an instruction on how we can create a hypergraphic. So first we have to insert the graphic into the document, and then we have to select the graphic by clicking it using the mouse. And then third is we have to make it hot by using the hyperlink button. And then lastly, to make it clear that the image is clickable, we can add a border around it. And then adding this way of adding a border, it helps the user understand that it's not just a regular picture, but something that they can interact it by clicking on it.
Hi guys, now let's proceed to the categories of multimedia. So the categories of multimedia is divided into two categories. So first is the linear active content. So these progresses without any navigation control for the viewers, such as a cinema presentation, or like magwatch ka og movie, magwatch ka og balita, or like this. Since this is a pre-recorded discussion, so therefore there is no interaction between us the reporters and you as our audience. So this is the linear active content. Now let's proceed to the non-linear content or the hypermedia content. It offers an interaction between the audience and the presenters. So, example ani is like kanang mag-report sa classroom. So, di ba ginagamit sa mga reporters ang TV kay para i-present ang ilang PowerPoint presentation. So, therefore, mag-report sila, pwede sila mag-ask sa ilang audience or ang audience pwede mag-ask sa ilang about their, ilang gina-report. So, ano siya. Now let's move on to features of multimedia. So first is the multimedia presentation. So maybe viewed in person or in stage, projected, transmitted, or like mag-play lang video. Like for this one, since this is a pre-recorded presentation, so this is a linear presentation. So yeah, a broadcast may be live or recorded multimedia presentation. Broadcast and recordings may be either analog or digital electronic media technology. So digital, online multimedia may be downloaded or streamed. Streaming multimedia may be live or on demand. Next is the multimedia games and simulations. So it may be used in a physical environment with special effects or with multiple online users in an online network or locally with an offline computer, game system, or simulator. The example lani is a Mobile Legend. So, di ba Mobile Legend, kay gina-control nga to siya. So, yeah, that's
an example also of a non-linear content. So there is an interaction between imong hero o ikaw, syempre ikaw may control sa imong hero. And also there is also an interaction between you and the kalaban. 'Di ba? Like magbabaka ni mo na mag skills is isan nimo siya like that. So there is an interaction in the context of multimedia games and simulations. Therefore, enhanced levels of interactivity are made possible by combining multiple forms of media content, but depending on what multimedia content you have, it may vary. Online multimedia is increasingly becoming object-oriented and data-driven, enabling applications with collaborative end users, innovations, and personalizations on multiple forms of content over time. So, example lang is ang social media. 'Di ba? Like, pwede ka makik-interact for anyone around the globe or anyone like nasa lagyong lugar, nasa lagyong dapit, pwede ka mag-interact sa lahat through like video calls or chat or if mag-post ka og picture sa social media, pwede nila mag-react og heart, mag-angry, mag-sad, mag-care, and pwede po ka mag-comments sa mga posts. So, that's all. This ends for the features of multimedia. Thank you.
So, guys, we're here at the multimedia artist. So, multimedia. When we say multimedia, we all know naman that it's used for the different platforms. So, here we go. A multimedia artist is an artist who creates work which spans multiple media, usually with a focus on the integration of electronic media. So, multimedia and mixed media are sometimes confused, but multimedia is a bit broader in scope and tends to be more dynamic in nature. Multimedia artists can be found working in a variety of settings, including art schools, galleries, and their own studios. They may collaborate with other artists on projects or focus on developing a project independently from start to finish. Magsugod siya sa pinakauna hangtod sa mahuman ang ilang project. So commonly, a multimedia artist makes pieces which unfold over time and are designed to engage multiple senses. And now we move on the classification of media, which is the interactive multimedia and the non-interactive multimedia. So first, the interactive multimedia. Interactive multimedia is the sequence and timing of media objects can be controlled by the user. For example, take any video game like ML, Candy Crush. So Candy Crush in which user is able to control the direction and position of candies to crush with one another. So interactive multimedia generally increases the participation of users and they can enjoy it more. The degree interactivity depends upon the field of the multimedia project. In tradition, mass media like TV, newspapers, and radio, the communication is one way, which means information or process originates from the source and is delivered to the audiences or users. So now we're here at the non-interactive multimedia. In non-interactive multimedia, the user simply watches the media as it plays from beginning to the end. He or she has no control over the flow. For example, guys, a corporate presentation or a multimedia demo.
As we all know that we are living in a society where technology continues to evolve. That's why multimedia is very important in our daily lives. Through multimedia, we can communicate towards other people through the use of technology, whether you're a student or you are working. That's all for our presentation. The next part will be discussed by the next group. Thank you for listening.
That's all for our presentation. Thank you for listening.